I'm going to share tips on marketing with integrity, focus on passion points, and a little bit of background why I developed this entire philosophy and framework to help you create marketing messages with integrity is because I had been actually studying with some of the very best copywriters, marketers, and coaches and consultants in the industry, and something was off. You see, I've been in the marketing, advertising, copywriting, publicity, and communications arena for multiple decades. And when I started playing in the online arena with direct response copy and also with copywriting in general, as far as long sales copy goes, I was quite familiar with short copy working in advertising agencies and beyond. Something wasn't landing right with me, and that was the fact that everyone was teaching people to poke at pain points and to really focus on what was wrong, what was lacking, the fear, and those negative emotions. And then we were being taught to agitate those pain points to get people into a heightened emotional frenzy so they would then buy. And that did not feel right to me. I was kind of quiet about it for a while. This was over a decade ago when I was learning about these methodologies, but something wasn't sitting right. It just didn't settle. And this was true of hundreds upon hundreds of clients that were coming my way and sharing with me, hey, Lisa, this isn't working for me. We've got all the pain points lined out on our brochure, our website, our sales material, and people aren't responding. And so I would basically just back it up a bit and ask some questions like, what framework are you using? What formula are you using to create your marketing messages and your copywriting? And is that the way you want to be spoken to? So I'm going to jump in and go over the 3 points that I promised to share. And the first one is why it's so important to amplify passion points instead of poking at pain points. So when I started questioning this, because I'm really good at breaking the trance, challenging the status quo, and engaging critical thinking, people were a little bit skeptical. It's taken about a decade for others to understand that it's really important to flip the script. But some people did take notice. Inc. magazine interviewed me. I've been featured in multiple #1 best-selling books about these philosophies. And the reason is that other people realized that when I mentioned we must flip the script and focus on those passion points instead of pain points, that there was true resonance to that. And here's why. When we're focusing on passion points, we're actually painting a picture of possibility about how life can be with our product or service, rather than dragging people into the depths of despair by poking at those pain points. Now listen, the pain point marketing can work. I'm not saying that it can't, but it is not going to get you a solid foundation to create long-term sustainability in your business. And this is really important. So the first thing I want you to think about is how you can flip the script in your own marketing messages and communications and really focus on those passion points that are going to paint that picture of possibility and position you as a natural choice to do business, as opposed to poking at pain points, which actually tend to perpetuate buyer's remorse and increase return rates. So that's the first point that I promised to go over with you today. The second thing that I want to share with you is the framework that I created as an alternative to the problem, agitate, and solve approach. Now that framework is what I call the challenge, solution, and invitation framework. The coolest thing about this is that it's completely customizable. It is not cookie cutter or paint by numbers, and it's where you get to roll up your sleeves and have some fun with your messaging, because this should be fun. So here's the thing, we do need to know what the problem is of our prime prospects if they're ever going to become a paying customer. But instead of focusing on those problems and poking at those pain points, we really look at it and approach it from the perspective of a challenge and meeting people where they are with empathy and understanding, and making sure that we fully know what it is that's going to improve the disposition of whomever we're going to play with in whatever way we're going to serve. So the first thing that you do is, #1, you acknowledge that challenge with empathy and understanding. Now the second part of the challenge, solution, and invitation framework is the solution. This is where you shine. You're able to share how you make a difference in the world, how your product or service is going to change lives or whatever it does, right? You're going to have to fill in the blanks with your own message there. But within the solution, beyond just saying, hey, I've got a solution for that. You also need to make sure that you are positioning this strongly with your value proposition. And this comes in the form of case studies, or it could be testimonials. It could be stories that illustrate how you've made a big difference for your clients. I'll share a quick example. One woman who just read an article about the challenge, solution, and invitation framework, she didn't even work with me, but this article was so powerful and impactful for her. Once she learned about the challenge, solution, and invitation framework, she was able to apply that to her live events and how she was playing with her audience to get better results immediately. And she had invested a large sum of money with a very well-known sales coach who delivered some helpful information, but it wasn't information that was landing with her ideal clients. So that's a story I like to share, just because it's so powerful that sometimes information will shift a person and cause a transformation. So you can even share within your solution piece the transformations that people receive when they play with you. Or you can use something that is a little bit more quantifiable. Like, for example, when I worked with another client, we mapped out her content strategy plan in 3 sessions, and we were able to move her from multiple 6 figures to $1 million within 6 months. So those are some ideas of how you can start playing with those case studies, that value proposition, the information that's going to position you as a natural choice to do business with. Now, also within the solution, you're going to want to include some of those passion points. Paint a picture of possibility, what life could be like after people experience you. So for instance, if you flip the script and you start focusing on passion points instead of pain points, you're going to be building long-term sustainable relationships with your ideal clients, who will then become repeated customers and will trust you and move forward, right? So think about that. So we've acknowledged the challenge. We're working on our solution so that we are powerfully positioning ourselves as a natural choice to do business with. And basically by this step 2, we have positioned ourselves in such a way that it's very clear what we have to offer. It's very clear that we get results, and we've equipped our prime prospect with the information they need to make that decision to do business with us. And then we can gracefully roll into the invitation. Now, this is commonly known as a call to action, but I like to soften that language and build relationships and call it an invitation. And your invitation is simple, depending on what it is that you want someone to do. Ask them to take the next step. How does that sound to you? Would you like to book a consulting session? How does that sound to you? Would you like to invest in my copywriting program? How does that sound to you? Would you like to fill in the blank? Whatever that next step is, give them the information to choose to do business with you. All too often, people fail to extend an invitation. You get really excited, you share everything you have to offer, and then you don't ask people to take that next step. So let's just recap. Acknowledge the challenge. Be sure to share your solution, be very clear about that, and then extend that invitation so that you can invite people to do business with you or get your free offer, whatever it might be. So that'll give you some context to how you can begin to create marketing messages with integrity that get even better results. And I want to share one more thing with you. It's very important to realize that there are 2 things that will never go out of style when it comes to marketing. That's your message and that's your strategy. There's an age-old advertising and marketing adage that says that copy is king, and I flip that script as well. Copy is actually queen. Think of it as the feminine energy of your marketing, what's building those relationships and nurturing. And strategy is king. Strategy is the masculine framework that's driving that strategy and getting things done. And just like a relationship, if they're not playing together, it can be a struggle. So we want to get all of these things lined up energetically so that we're coming from a place of true service based on our values, so we can help others shine their light into the world. Thanks again for having me, Jody. I hope this was extremely helpful to everyone, and I look forward to seeing how you flip the script and create marketing messages with integrity to get better results.